we are going to fight corruption. Corruption was becoming a big problem.
President Yoweri Museveni cited corruption in the Uganda Airlines.
But the airline was infiltrated immediately by some corrupt elements. When I got information, I moved in and I dispersed the whole group.
However, the anti-corruption activists say Museveni's promise to end corruption is just a talk.
So what the president has said is not new, because he has said similar statements very many times. But unfortunately, when you look at reports such as the Auditor General's report, or when you look at the Inspectorate of Government reports, it just shows you that the levels of corruption within the country are continuously going high. It has become more of a rhetoric.
Because they thrive on corruption. They do voter bribery, they bribe MPs to make laws, every day the president moves the whole country with envelopes. It is part of their DNA.
Tinyefuza and Saleh investigated ghost soldiers in UPDF. The former Army Commander James Kazin, in his testimony, he said there is official and unofficial corruption. The unofficial corruption, where Museveni has not authorized you to steal, can stop. But the official corruption perpetuated by Museveni cannot stop.
In 2019, Museveni took part in a public walk against corruption, in which he also committed himself to fight the vice.
Corrupt people are parasites. Why are they parasites? They are parasites because they get wealth which they did not earn.
But Jacob Olanya, who was the Deputy Speaker of Parliament then, reminded him to walk the talk.
Let's cut the pretense, Mr. President. Let's talk. Being corrupt. I come because of the public show. But deep down I know we are going right back to practice the same damn corruption that we claim to fight.
According to the 2020 Police Crime Report, police received 32 corruption cases, 26 of which are still under investigation. 13 cases were sent to the Director of Public Prosecution. Only 2 cases were forwarded to court, and the DPP managed to secure only 1 conviction, while 4 cases were dropped. Also in 2020, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, headed by Colonel Edith Nakarema, received 65 cases of corruption, constituting a loss of about 6 billion shillings. But only 120 million shillings has been recovered so far.
We invite the president to prevail over entities that have been agents or pillars of corruption in the energy sector, across local governments, compensations at the Ministry of Finance and a number of other related institutions, those who have stolen COVID-related resources, including the borrowed money.
Currently, the Office of the Inspector General of Government is not fully constituted after the expiry of the contract of Justice Irene Muryagonja.
The only hindrance, which was as a result of judgment by the court, was that we cannot prosecute. And the IG right now gets the prosecutorial powers from the DPP, who actually signed the charge sheet. But still the IG prosecutors are the ones that prosecute the matter as prosecutors.
The president over a year now has neglected to appoint an IGG. Now that alone actually speaks volumes as to his commitment to fight corruption.
But those that have been perpetrators of the corruption shouldn't simply walk away with it.
However, Munira Ali says the IGG's office has since July 2020 successfully prosecuted cases of corruption.
We have actually prosecuted over 50 cases since then, out of which we have about 75% conviction.
The 2020 Transparency International report ranked Uganda as one of the most corrupt nations at 142, which means we are in 27th position.
We went lower by 2 marks, by 2 steps. So which actually shows you that despite the fact that the government has enacted laws, we're not really doing so well in the fight against corruption. And for me, it isn't surprising because we tend to fight corruption using words.
The Global Corruption Index also indicates that Uganda loses about 500 billion shillings annually to corruption. At the start of the NRM's government's 2016-2021 term, Museveni said he was committed to fighting corruption. He termed it as Kisanja Kuna Muchezo. It remains to be seen if the president will fulfill his promise with action. Jingo Francis, NTV.